Welcome to the Princeton Podcast, where we talk about upcoming events, news, and local businesses. This is Princeton. Play here, stay here.
Before we get started today, just a reminder to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're also recording on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe at This is Princeton MN.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Princeton Public Schools, an innovative leader in instruction, developing in every learner the ability to succeed in an ever-changing world. Together we are Tiger Strong. Was that all right? Wow.
That's good.
Anyways, I'm Zach Kitzman, here with Kim Young and Mary Patnode. Who do we have here for our guest today?
Well, we are excited to introduce our next guests who traveled 1 mile right up Old 18 all the way from the Princeton Hockey Arena. Please welcome Missy McAlpine and Dalton Drews.
That's real. That's actually all. There's tons of people here. There's a crowd sitting back here. Everyone's.
We're used to the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Stadium full of 1,000 fans every hockey game.
We had to shut down First Street today. All right, let's get started. Let's learn about you guys a little bit, and why don't you each tell us about your role at the arena, and we'll start with Missy.
Okay, I am the manager at the arena. Kind of run Dalton runs the back part, but scheduling, working with in and outs of, I don't know, it's just everything.
It is.
Kind of. It's hard to explain what I do because nobody kind of sees what happens in the back, you know.
What about concessions? Like, do you have to manage that as well?
Yep,
Okay.
manage concessions. We have Becky, she's a great lead. She kind of takes care of most of that.
Mm-hmm.
Super great team. So we manage, we have 15-ish, I think, on staff, part-time.
Wow.
Dalton and I are the only full-times. Super great team. Yeah, it's just, I do a lot of scheduling. Schedule. Becker Big Lake, I do their ice scheduling also. They are, did we get to that yet? We're their home arena also for their youth and high school teams. So
And you said it's for Becker?
Becker and Big Lake.
No.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, look at that.
Yeah.
Little
Becker
bits of
Big Lake
information.
Eagles. Go Eagles too.
Oh.
So the west
Yeah.
side of the arena, right?
Yes, the west
Is the
side.
home ice of the Becker Big Lake
Yeah.
hockey team. And the
Yes.
east side is the home rink for your Princeton Tigers.
Yes. We occasionally have games over on the, Princeton occasionally has games over on the west also. And it does happen at times that Becker youth has games on the east, but we try and keep them separate. And
So they each have
yeah,
their own.
They each have their own. I also do advertising. I'm responsible for finding advertising and sponsors for the arena. So we do that. We have Learn to Skate that we schedule for brand new littles. Well, I guess you don't have to be little.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to
Hey,
skate,
if
you can come.
I'll show up with a pillow duct tape around me.
Yeah.
Dalton can push you on a chair.
That'd be nice.
Oh, I'm great at pushing chairs. I can spin you even while you're out there.
Yeah, well, don't spin me too much, all right?
All right. That's just one spin and I'll get you.
All right. I'm already.
I guess I got kind of off track there, but mostly I do a lot of scheduling, work with the board directly,
Work with the community.
work with the community, that kind of thing.
So you're
The
marketing,
contact.
PR, scheduling, supervising, everything.
Yes.
Hodgepodge.
Everything that needs for an arena
Yep.
to run. And
You
then
ask me, I'll figure it out.
your side, your co-pilot is
Yes.
Dalton.
Yeah, I'm our maintenance supervisor. I run everything in the back of the house, everything that really people don't see, and that you see when you come into the building. You know, cleanliness of the building, maintaining our ice, facilitating people, teams, refs, fans even. There's a lot to go into it. It's a couple thousand people that walk in the rink just about every single day. People have many questions. They need things fixed. They need to know where things are, or maybe how it runs and operates. I'm your guy for that. So I'll coordinate our staff too. I got a nice group of guys that are part-time guys, mainly because they all have full-time jobs too. They work over 50 hours a week, and they dedicate their time to come to the arena. A lot of them have been there even longer than I have. They're veterans, they've been around the block.
These are the guys that are driving the Zamboni.
Yeah, yep. Our older guys, Jeff, Colin, Corey, they're our lead guys. Colin is a Princeton alumni, played hockey there. He's been working at the rink since he was 16. He's a big-time veteran. There's many years where Colin's done a lot of work there that people have never seen, and dedicated a lot of time to keep that place running. So,
Quick question for you, because honestly, it's a question for myself. What are your guys' hours like in availability for just the general public? Is that a thing, or is it just for schools and, yeah?
Really, our times are usually in the afternoon, mainly because everybody's kind of at work. It's a recreational facility, so people are at work, kids are at school. Usually about 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night is our true open hours. Because we always have rentals there. There's always people playing hockey around the ice. A lot of times during the week, I am there pretty early in the day, so you can always just kind of stop in or check on us. Happy to show you around or showcase the facility for you. That's kind of when we're open.
So if Joe and Susie wanted to get their skates out of the garage and go skating, they could swing by at some point and maybe schedule a time to go skating, or?
Ice time is quite expensive. It's not like a basketball court where you can kind of just show up and play. It does take a lot of energy consumption to keep an ice rink nice and cool. So you can't just show up anytime you want.
No.
We do have plenty of times where we have open skating though, which is really fairly cheap. It's only $5 per person, $15 for a family of 3+ people. We also have open hockey for youth and adults. I run our adult open skate. We play once a week, usually about an hour 15-minute long. The youth skate, they don't really play a game. Kids more or less come out and shoot around, and once in a while you'll see them throw their sticks in the middle.
Nice.
Kind of depends on how many kids they get out there. But that's when it is. And it's usually a couple hours each week. Right now we have Tuesdays and Thursdays. Open skating is 11:30 in the morning to about 2 p.m. And open hockey is Wednesdays. It's going to be starting here in about an hour, 11:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
So
We'll make sure and get that posted too when this podcast goes live on social and.
Yep.
Yeah,
You guys
that
wanna
is
send us a
it's
schedule.
a fun, that's why we are the coolest place to visit in the summer.
Literally.
Yes.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
That's the opening takeline. We are the coolest place
Yeah, we
in
are.
the summer.
that the schedule for open skate and open hockey is on the Princeton Youth Hockey Association
Okay.
website. So
We'll go ahead and
Snag
share
it from
that
there.
and post that out.
And then you also have, in the winter, you have the outdoor rink.
yeah,
So how does that work? And is that a show up anytime type
That's a
deal?
show up anytime you want to show up. There are an occasional practice, well, there's kind of a lot of practices out there.
Yep. Again, that's in the afternoon though. It's after school,
Yeah.
usually. But they have you can reserve an hour on there on the website as well. There is an outdoor rink committee or crew. Few guys that have been doing that for a long time.
Do a lot of work to keep that
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weather is permitted, obviously. If it's 60 degrees out, you can't really build an outdoor rink, obviously. They usually get it up. They try to get it up before Christmas is what the commonality has been.
And when people, you can reserve that, but the idea is if you're reserving that, like even a Princeton team, like a little mite team will reserve that. The expectation is you're reserving half of the ice, so then the kids in the community, anybody or surrounding communities can just come out and play. So it's not like, no, we have practice, you can't come. It's always open.
No charge.
Okay.
No charge.
And there's a
Yeah.
nice warming house. Sometimes
Yeah.
there's
I
even
didn't
a
know that.
fire.
Yeah.
Yep,
What
there's
about
a fire
lights?
pit there.
There's
Lights.
Yep.
Yep.
It's well lit, very well lit, actually.
There's a
Yeah,
Zamboni for
outdoor.
outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
I did not
Yeah,
realize
yeah,
that.
the outdoor
That's awesome.
rink crew has done a fabulous job with all of that.
Yeah.
What's the process of making the ice available to be skated on inside? I know it's,
Start to finish.
yeah, sure.
Well, we have concrete slab. There's two ways you can do it. You can have a concrete slab or a sand floor.
It's not a pool.
It's not a pool.
It can turn into one if not well maintained.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it
bet.
can very quickly turn into a pool
That
very
happened
fast.
a couple years ago.
Sure did.
During the summer, it's a splash park.
Yeah.
Winter, it's a-
So first we have a chiller system. Use the compressors, and it's not so much cooling the floor; it's more or less removing the heat. That's a very misconception that people think that you're cooling. In reality, you're not cooling. I'm more or less taking all of the heat out of the building to make it cold. That's how we start. Bring the temp all the way down about 16 degrees, and then we do a tiny little base flare, not even a 1/4 inch thick. Then we paint the ice, full layer of white. Do another quick coat of water.
Paint the
I did
ice.
not know that.
Yep, yep. The
I was
concrete
thinking
is
you put something
just
on the
like
floor.
Nope.
Many years ago, they used to paint the concrete.
That's what
But
I
we've-
thought.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, remember when the floor was kind of,
Yes.
and now it's nice? Well, that's a reason, because we no
'Cause you
longer
don't
paint
paint.
the concrete.
Yep. Industry practice has
Interesting.
actually found that that's actually more harmful to keep your efficiency of your arena up, because there's a bond between that concrete and the ice that actually forms and forms together.
Yeah.
Seals together. So when you have a layer of paint between the concrete and that ice, it just doesn't sit right. You always have this breaking point where you can actually have water be slipping underneath. And that's what you don't want.
Right.
You want to have a nice solid bond between the concrete and the ice.
So how do you get it to 16 degrees? Like, are you talking the concrete is 16? Or are you talking the building? Are you talking like
The concrete.
Okay.
Concrete floor
Got
is
it.
about 16 degrees.
like that would suck to walk into the arena? And
Yep, when we start flooding, I am fully bundled up. I have a pair of wool socks, long johns on. I have long johns on in August when I'm at the arena, because we start cooling down the building. That's kind of what it is. We've gotten faster and faster lately because I've made some, with Missy's help, some adjustments to our equipment as well, so that it used to take us about 2-3 weeks to fully build a sheet of ice. I've gotten us down to 5 days.
Nice.
Yeah, we've done it really, really quick. When we put the west in, we actually took the west out this spring, and we actually put it back in 2 weeks, in a 2-week span, which is the fastest we've ever done it.
Wow.
So,
Why did you take it out and put it back in?
it was in for 3 years. So,
Oh.
I'm not a Princeton native. I'm from the cities. I started here about just under 4 years ago. My very first sheet of ice that I built there was at west of rink, and it hasn't been taken out since. We just took it out this spring. So,
Okay.
And we take it out for maintenance,
Yeah.
maintenance things.
Sure.
yeah, you don't want to leave ice in for super long periods of time.
We have to,
You just got to check things.
yep.
You know,
Replace kick plates, the yellow around the whole rink, those are in sections, so just,
there's many things that can go wrong if you don't check things out. I've even heard of one arena having mold in their ice, which is a
Oh.
crazy thing. So it's even good to just rip it all out, check everything out, make sure your floor is still solid, there's no cracks anywhere. Again, readjust your boards. I'm sure we've all seen the crazy Zambonis of catching on fire, slamming into boards, breaking glass, spinning around, no driver on them. There's many videos out there.
how many of those videos are you?
Not a single one.
Okay.
Not a single one. No.
You're listing them like
Yeah,
like
I've seen 'em.
reminiscing. Yeah, the
No.
fire. that-
so
There-
what would you guys guess the total thickness of the ice is on the rink?
I'm going to say 5 inches.
That's what I was gonna guess, 5 or 6.
3.
I try to keep ice at 1.25 inches thick. That's all it is.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this just like
Nope.
skates cut it down.
Yeah.
Nope.
So then the Zamboni smooths it back out, so it always stays.
Yeah, so Zamboni, I'm glad you bring that up, because the Zamboni is actually just the brand. We have 2 Zambonis. We have 2 Zamboni 552s. It's a brand and a model. They're actually ice resurfacers, because you can have an Olympia, which is an ice resurfacer, but it's not a Zamboni, obviously. And there's a blade and an auger system, horizontal and vertical, that the blade will cut the top layer of ice off, Augers pick up all that snow and put it in the snow tank. So basically comes up, shoots into the tank. And then there's a wash water system that will spray out all the cracks that are on the ice made from skate grooves to kind of clear out all that extra snow and debris and everything else that gets on the ice. And then there's flood water that's behind the towel. I'm sure you've all seen the towel that's on the bottom of the, what we call a conditioner, and that's what makes it all nice and smooth and flat.
And then it just instantly freezes?
Instantly is a good word.
But I mean, it's every period
Yeah.
that you do this.
Every period,
You're
but
spraying water on there.
you can, there's times where you can, what I call extra flood or heavy flood, was laying a enormous amount of water. And then you can do a really nice flood where it can almost freeze instantaneously every pass you make. So,
Wow.
And
Yep.
the reason we like when people bring blankets when they get cold is because we don't want that heat with all of the people and the
Right.
heat.
Mhm.
You know, there's only an inch and a quarter. So that's the reason, like,
It's
yep,
cold
it's
in
cold.
the arena.
Yeah, we want it to be cold. It's-
Yeah.
We have
My-
great ice.
My son is a hockey player, and he often makes comments like Super Rink, for example. He talks about how the ice is just always a little bit
Soft.
slower
Yep.
and soft because
It's warm
and
in there, it's
Yeah,
warm.
we don't have to wear a coat in there,
Yep.
Yep.
but it's
That's
not
why
good for the ice.
No,
That's good for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for the people.
I actually do love it when I talk with him quite a bit about how he feels about the ice and
Yeah.
making sure it's smooth. I talk to all the hockey players actually about it because I want them to know the quality of ice they get here compared to when they go to other places. And it also affects when you play games. Like if you have an arena that is super warm and you're playing a hockey game, well, the puck moves slower.
Sure.
You're not moving as fast. There's many things that field of play affects your game. I'm
Like
sure you've all watched
Conditioning too, like you have to skate
Yeah.
harder to even get across.
Sure.
So
it. Yep. You always see goalies, they kind of like snow their crease.
Uh-huh.
It's because they don't want to slip and slide all the way across when they push off. So they make
So
it
they
snow.
want it to be.
A little bit warmer.
Uh-huh.
They're all different.
Yep.
Goalies
But
are
yeah,
a little
that's what you
oddballs.
see
but-
there. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that brings me back to, remember, I'm not cooling the rink. I'm removing the heat.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm doing. So when we get 1,000 fans in there and we got all the bleacher heats on, my compressor system is working extra hard, and I'm constantly monitoring that during games. I even turn our temp down during games because I know that so much heat's going to come into the building that my ice will set up slower
Sure.
if I don't turn my plant down.
So how do you remove the heat?
It's a little bit complicated of a system. There's two types of chemicals that are we have an R44 is what our chemical is right now that runs through our compressor system, and glycol. Two different chemicals. The R44 runs through the base floor of the concrete, which is actually pulling that heat. It's a certain temperature, it pulls that heat out. It comes back warmer into our compressor system, and then it goes through our condenser tower that cools those pipes and releases that heat into the outside air. So it'll come into the building, goes out to those big towers in the back. That removes the heat, and then that coldness and that refrigerant will go back in to the concrete floor, and that's what's pulling that heat out.
It's the opposite of in-floor heating. Like I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's pipes or something, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
underneath it.
There's like 6-foot or 6-inch pipes, difference pipes that run all the way down the entire concrete floor.
Got it.
Yep, and even
Okay.
slightly outside of the concrete floor of the arena.
Nice. Yeah, we just got done putting in in-floor heating in our house, so I got to see all the cords.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about removing the heat, and that's the same kind of like process. I'm
And-
assuming just different chemicals and obviously like
Yeah, pretty much the same exact layout too. They're only spaced so far apart.
Mhm.
So
neat.
And the water, when you remove the ice from the rink, the water, where is the water going into? I'm trying to picture in the arena where it,
So I do try to shave as much as the ice off as possible.
Oh, you do?
I try to get
Okay.
it as thin as possible. Basically, once I break the paint, I know that I've got that part thin enough.
okay.
And then after that, we have to wait usually about a day for that bond from the base layer of ice from the concrete to break, and then we bring a bobcat in and we try to take as chunks of ice out.
Oh,
Yep. And
so
then-
you're really not dealing with a lot of water.
Oh, you're still dealing with a lot
Are
of water,
you?
no matter what. It's about 10,000 gallons of water for every inch of ice you make in a hockey rink.
How many?
What?
10,000 gallons.
For every inch?
Every inch.
City of Princeton loves us.
Inch this
I
year.
bet.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of water. Yeah.
It's a super cool process to build and to take out. So, you know,
You guys should do a video. I know a guy that could do it.
Time lapse.
And do a time lapse.
We tried one year. The iPad didn't hold up in the cold.
Oh.
Because it takes about a week. So you're having to sit there that whole time.
Yes.
You know, and when we flood the rink, we work about 12, 14 hours a day
Sure.
flooding the rink.
because you
And-
can't just take the ZAM out there or the ice resurfacer out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You have to do it by hand.
Yeah, we have this,
Flood the rink.
what we have is it's called a big boom sprayer. It's about 14 nozzles, and it basically sprays a mist.
Yep.
And you go up and down and up and down and up and
Over
down.
and over and
Yep,
over.
tiny little layers, and that's what gets our ice super hard. So,
Huh.
yeah, the thicker
With
layers,
hot water.
thicker layers you put on,
We
the
freeze it
softer
with
your
hot
ice
water.
actually is.
Yeah.
With hot water, you said?
Yep, run about 160 degrees in the Zamboni when we put it in, and every time we flood.
What's the point of that?
Less oxygen in your water. So hot water has less oxygen in it, which actually helps it freeze faster and makes it harder. The more oxygen you have in your ice, the more bubbles you have. So it actually creates softer, which you don't want. You move slower.
Science lesson today, kids.
Yeah, Dalton, how did you learn all this?
My Emma. That's actually
Yeah.
a shirt I'm wearing. It's Minnesota Ice Arenas Management Association or Manager Association.
Manager Association.
Yep. They put on classes and certifications that you can
Okay.
take, and you have passed tests to get certified. And it's been going on for hundreds of years. People making ice, so practices have come and gone and changed, and always changing.
I mean, I learned from Tom Droogsma,
Yeah.
and that was just hose flooding. So
Sure.
that's why we've
That's
cut down our time quite a bit.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I picture when like we're flooding the even. I mean, I know that's what they do for the
Exactly how it
outdoor,
is.
but that's how I feel like they do it for the indoor.
That's
But
exactly
Yep.
how it was. Yep.
And that's how I
Interesting.
built that very first sheet on the west. Was a garden nozzle, was a
Yep.
big black hose with a rope around it so it didn't freeze on the ice.
And you didn't burn your hands.
And you didn't burn your hands. And man, that was a lengthy,
Yeah.
hard process,
Yeah.
especially when you got to do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
Takes days to do that. Now we have a nice insulated blue
Yeah.
hose that doesn't freeze the ice with a
Yeah.
big boom sprayer, and we fly when we do it.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Well, I've learned a lot about the senior parties hosted at the ice arena every year. That's why I wore this shirt as my representation of the ice arena today. And I've learned a lot about the ice in what we bring in to put on the floor. So in 2019, one thing I will say is you guys are so accommodating. It's just, I mean, we come in with some pretty crazy ideas, and you guys always find a way to
We
make
look
it work.
forward to the ideas. every
Yeah.
year,
It's
sort
like,
of.
what are
We're
we
like,
gonna-
"Oh, what are they
what are
gonna
we
bring
gonna
to
do?"
So water park isn't out of the question?
Yeah, water park is not a
So-
question.
Well, they brought in a sand volleyball court
Well,
one
that's what I
year.
was
They
gonna
did?
say. So in 2019, we built a full-size, usable sand volleyball court. And in talking with you guys, it was a matter of every granule of sand had to come off that floor. Because a piece of sand can make a difference.
You mess up that bond.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's impossible to get everything.
Yeah.
Anytime you sweep, it's impossible to get anything. Anytime you clean anything, it's,
Mm-hmm.
it might look really good, but is it absolutely perfect?
Right.
That's impossible. You can't.
Get
You s-
close.
Yeah, you get very close. You get as close as you possibly can. Striving for perfection, just to know you'll never hit it, is what we do.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, but you guys, I think the only thing that hasn't happened that we tried was a climbing wall, because you guys are unwilling to redo your roof and make it higher.
Like a rock,
Come on.
like a rock wall or something?
yeah.
Yeah, so that it just wouldn't fit in there. But this year you guys took off boards for us so that we could get, the video gaming truck in there, and it's pretty amazing. But even one thing we've learned about is tape. even taping
Yes.
on the floor.
Yep.
The
It's
adhesive
the
on it,
adhesive,
yeah.
even painter's tape, which I feel that has no bond at all.
Yep. The problem is it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
You know, if
So
you walk on it
we
all day.
tested this year. We
Yes.
talked about that, and our test proved us wrong. It wasn't great. It was better, but we still haven't found the perfect,
Right.
Yep.
the perfect.
That's
tape.
as close as we've gotten so far.
Yeah, testing those different tapes.
Yep.
That's what we ended up buying this year.
Painter's
Yeah.
tape?
No, it's a
It's a-
certain kind
It's
of,
a specialty floor tape.
Okay.
They use it for a lot of gym floors.
Oh, okay, that's
Uh,
actually called floor tape, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The problem is I have found is the longer it stays on the ground, the worse it gets.
so for pickleball.
Yeah, we tested the pickleball this spring, and it was a little bit of a hassle for us, removing it, but we eventually got it up. You know, I had to spend a little time scraping it, hands and knees, getting down
Yeah.
there with a little spatula pretty much.
Yeah.
Elbow grease.
Yeah, a lot of elbow grease to go into that one.
Yeah.
But that's all right, you know, that's why I work there, so.
Yeah. What do you guys
Do you remember your answer as a child to the common question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Our students have an opportunity to explore and narrow in on their interests with our Tiger Career Academies. Students can freely explore career and college options before racking up student debt. With 6 career academies, Human Services Academy, Agriculture and Natural Resources Academy, Health Science Academy, Engineering, Manufacturing, and Technology Academy, Information Systems, Communications and Art Academy, Business Management and Administration Academy. Each with multiple pathways and 72 trimester class slots, students have many opportunities to explore and prepare for their future. Our goal is for every student to graduate with an industry credential, certification, workplace experience, college credit, internship, or mentorship. Connecting their learning to outside experiences, students apply new skills with meaning and relevance to the field. Go to www.isd477.org/academies to find your calling.
do an awesome job?
Well, let's get into, we have a couple questions here that let's put together. We want to talk a little bit about the history of the arena because it started off as one, and then eventually it turned into 2. And if you guys can just talk about the East versus the West, and then also how the Princeton Public Schools, how you guys host the Princeton High School Tiger teams, the girls and the boys teams, and just a little bit about that relationship.
So we are celebrating 50 years of Tiger hockey. This is our 50 year of Tiger hockey. Now the
Oh.
arena
This coming
wasn't-
winter is 50?
This season, yes.
Oh, fun.
So we're
Okay.
we're starting that whole process of different fun things throughout the season. Yes, and we'll be
We need to
touching
talk,
base.
yeah.
Yes. We didn't have an arena right away, so Tiger hockey started before the arena was built.
Okay. Just on a
Short,
pond or?
short
out?
after, outdoor rink.
Okay.
Yep.
The one that's out there now?
No.
Okay.
Nope, that one, once we added the new sheet, the original, oh God, the original just got moved, so.
It's all good.
And then in 2010 was the first, January 3rd of 2010 was the first high school game on the west. So that construction was 2009-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we have 2, and
Now
you
we
don't
have
see
2.
that often in, cities the size of ours, and
No.
So
you
the
see
second
them-
wing came in 2009, you're saying?
built in 2009's
The
first
east.
game played in
First game.
2010.
Yep.
Yep.
Girls,
The west side.
I mean, the west side.
Yep.
girls high school game, January
Girls high
3rd,
school game.
2010. It's the first game ever played on there.
Yeah.
So,
What was the goal or purpose, or why did we build another one? Or
I think it was a little bit of a demand for hockey. Hockey is, if you ask a lot of hockey folks, hockey's played 14 months out of the year. Play it all year long. It's just a demand. If you get 12 teams in your association, you can't fit them all with enough practices in a week. You want to have an extra sheet just to fill them in. It has helped to bring in our sister association of Becker Big Lake for hockey. Really helps because now we host 3 high school teams. Princeton Tigers boys team, obviously. the Becker Big Lake Eagles boys team, and then the girls are actually co-opted together. So it's Princeton Becker Big Lake Tigers is what they call them for the girls' high school.
So
Really?
is that because
That's
the girls it's not as big of a program, or do you see that ever splitting into two
Becker
separate
and
girls
Big Lake,
teams?
they don't have, and their numbers don't support
Okay.
their own high school team.
Okay.
So I think youth either.
Yeah, nor does
So-
Princeton. So,
Okay.
because even the youth, girls' youth is co-op together,
So
all
they're-
three schools.
Yeah, it's a PBBL Tigers for the youth, and then they transition into Tigers into high school because they don't have a high school team in Becker and Big Lake.
Okay.
And it's good to note that Big Lake nor Becker do not have ice arenas.
Right.
In their
Right.
cities.
So we're their home ice.
Yeah.
Mhm. This is their home ice, I
Yes.
should say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that advertising, that's around there. I mean, that, in the rinks, it's, people from all over see it.
Right.
It's not just Princeton people that come to the rink.
Yep.
And we're host site for District 10 playoffs each year for the last 7-8 seasons, which brings in people from everywhere.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you guys are a huge asset just to the community. I mean, the restaurants, shopping, if there's people here, all winter long, there's something going on at that arena. The
Yes.
parking lot is full.
Packed.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Well, and I
Yes.
want to mention that it's not just in the winter. Also, because you guys keep the ice on one rink, and on the other rink, you take it off. And this year, you started a pickleball.
We did.
You had, how many courts? 4, 5?
We actually have,
We
actually
started
have
with
8.
6, but we
Well,
added 2 because
yeah.
there was a lot of people showing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That pickleball is huge right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we brought our leadership group there one day and just had a blast learning how to play. And it's a great place because it is a little cooler in there. So that's kind of nice. We
Sundays.
happened to be there on a rainy day, so that was perfect that we got to play anyway. Yeah, what else do you guys have going
We
on
had
there?
our first craft fair, well,
Yeah.
so we brought the craft fair back. Yep, from the 90s. Now we're back, and it was successful, and it was fun, and excited to,
Have that be annual again?
absolutely,
Cool.
no question.
What
We
was
have,
great about that craft fair, I thought, is that because it's such a big space, shopping was easy.
Yeah.
Because you didn't feel like you were just in a crowd of people, and getting it was just nice wide aisles, and it was just really nice. Yeah.
it was fun. I was nervous and scared and all of the things, and it turned out better than we had hoped for, so people
So
are already
I
looking
could go there
forward.
today and play some pickleball? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Wow. I
Is it
didn't know
back
that.
up again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The hours are a bit different. That's also posted on the website.
Okay. I'll get
Because
that
we
on
are
our
hosting
calendar.
a camp right now too. So they use the dry land and the ice.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, we have our youth summer camp, as far as squirts, peewees, bantams, and our girls of those levels. And then we also have high school summer training programs for both Princeton and the girls team is going on, and they occupy it like 3 days a week, 4 days a week. So, and they also use that, what we call the dry land area, as our pickleball area.
Yep.
So it's the same.
So are you guys going to start a league?
or that's the hope.
Okay.
I think Mr. Eric Jacobs might be
Uh-huh.
helping out with
That-
that
yeah.
too. That's the vision anyway.
Mhm.
Oh, that
we
would be
wanted
so
to get
great.
we wanted to get people in and experiencing and seeing how it works, and I think people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think so too, yeah.
You see it on the bulletin boards and stuff, people saying, where can we play pickleball? And finally, there's a place to go. So we'll definitely be sharing that schedule for you guys too and for the community.
Bring your short shorts and your paddles. Let's get it done.
One other thing is that.
It's like the World Series of pickleball. I saw
I
that
know.
on TV the other day. I was like, this is like real.
Uh-huh.
It's like the
It
real
is, it's competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they televised it is
Yes.
remarkable. Like, I never thought that was
That'll
coming.
be us soon.
Yep.
It's like watching like Forrest Gump play ping pong, on TV.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It's just the short court.
When we were there for leadership, Becky took one of our leadership participants around and showed her how you could walk, and that a lot of the hockey moms will do that during practice
Yeah.
and walk around the arena. Is that something that's available for people to be able to do?
When we're open,
Yeah.
that's available.
Come on in.
Yep.
Because what's
Come on
really
in.
cool about it is on it would be the east rink, right? That's the older one.
Yep.
The east rink, you can just kind of go out, just walk in
Yeah.
circles.
Yep.
And on the west rink, you get stairs. So it's stairs, walk,
Yes.
walk, which is a different kind of a nice workout.
Yep.
We don't have very many walking places in the winter, so that is really cool.
It is.
I did not know that people could come in and walk.
Yeah, when we're open. When we're open, we're open.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as people are respectful and just doing their thing, then that's what we hope for. We want people to come and see what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a maintenance man, I walk it all day. I do
Right.
figure eights. I probably get an average of like 24,000 steps in a day.
I bet you do.
Yeah. And that just goes to show you. And I'm walking the same patterns
Right.
and passes what I walk. Anybody that comes and walks
Yep.
with me.
I think about 12 times on the east is like almost a mile. 12 times
Okay.
around the east. Right?
Okay,
Okay.
that's just the circle.
Yep.
Okay.
Before we wrap up quick, I want to talk about how, are you guys ever going to go back to leasing to like weddings, receptions?
We have
or-
had weddings.
You have?
We have. We're
Because
back
that
at
used to
it.
be like the number
Yes.
one
Mhm.
go-to.
Sure
That's
was.
where my wedding reception will be held.
Yep, we had two weddings last
I
summer.
think so. Yeah. Can't remember.
You know, somebody someday
What are you trying to eye
Eventually.
me up on that one?
maybe we'll have a wedding there. Maybe.
Oh.
You.
Jeez, I gotta make sure my lady doesn't listen to this now.
Oh, she will.
Yeah.
Get a
Yes,
ring.
we're back.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
people could they can lease it, rent
Can
it out.
for
They
the day. Yep.
get
What
the
are they-
caterer there.
yeah.
What about beverages? That's
Well,
up to the person to.
That's kind of, yeah, we would probably recommend our sponsors, you know, somebody in the community who sponsors the rink. But a licensed, has to be
Yep.
licensed and insured, yeah.
Yeah, because back in the day, I remember working those. I worked at the golf course, and I think there was some sort of a contract where they did all the
May have been, yeah.
the bartending.
I don't remember,
for all
that's
the
a long
weddings.
time ago.
It was a long time ago.
So when
I
people
need to age myself.
when people rent it, what are they renting? Like, what space are you getting for the reception or for the wedding or?
I would say it's pretty much the entire arena. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say the ice part of it all. But yeah, if you have a wedding in the East Rink, you know, the whole venue's yours for the whole day.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like an aisle on the ice and the bride and groom skate down, and they just like, you know.
Oh, they weren't even talking.
I'm just saying like that.
I will
He's
have
got
to
a
admit
whole
here,
plan.
me and my lady have been talking about getting married for quite some time, and I have pitched that idea.
I'm saying that would be
the-
going down in history.
The biggest part is I think the West is set up a little bit better for it because it has a middle entrance aisle between both sets of bleachers.
Perfect.
That you could walk out to center ice and have both of your families on either side of that aisle. That
So the
would be an
actual
eruption
wedding.
of the actual reception
Right.
of your wedding
And we
on
did have a
a center
wedding.
ice with both your
Really?
families
Yeah.
to go out
It
to
was so pretty.
and just erupt. You know, just like when a hockey goal gets scored,
Yeah.
you could see all your fans banging on the glass and cheering away.
And
All your family on the other side of the
when they get married.
Yeah, it would be. I don't know.
So
but
you're saying like the reception and the ceremony, or ceremony only, or reception only? Because I was thinking like ceremony, like you guys say your vows on the ice, like you skate out there and
say
or
your
she
vows
skates
right
to you.
Yep, say your vows right in center ice with your groomsmen and bridesmaids on the benches. You know, as home team and home team. and-
Awesome.
Perfect.
you
But
know.
if you can't skate, the
Okay,
other
that
side
would
is
be
available
so
for
cool.
a wedding.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
And it has
Can you,
been.
can we
Yes.
spotlight it?
Yes, I
I
agree.
mean, yeah.
We get open invitation right here. I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we'll
And then-
see.
yeah, and then-
I gotta let the lady
We have
make that
live bar.
decision. I can't make that one. So.
I'll turn on live barn for the
Live
day.
bar.
There you
Yeah,
go.
All right,
Live barn,
guys.
what
If
a
you
good
guys are
idea.
watching, and listening, hit that like button to make sure this goes down. This needs to happen. If we
How
can-
many likes do we need for you to invite us all?
One.
Well, first, propose. 20 shares and he proposes.
Ooh, Riley would love
Jesus.
that.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the little symbol, the give button too, so people can start donating money for you. There you go.
Absolutely.
funny.
Rooting for you.
Well, one more question too that we kind of skipped over even though we
The high
asked
school?
it. Yeah, the high
Yeah.
school relationship.
So it's great. We love the high school relationship. The high school leases the rink Monday through Saturday. Well, it's Monday through Friday, really. And they actually have it all day long until 5:40. So sometimes some middle school programs will come and do a skate or a broom ball or whatever they want to do too. So, and then so that happens. Practices happen every day, all of that. And then Darren and Debbie from the high school give me their game schedule, and I fill them in. And that's about that. That's about as easy as that is. And then we have our own staff that run the admission for the games and the concessions and all of that. So that stays with the arena side. So they lease the space and the time.
Got it, okay.
And you guys provide the concessions, you run the admission tables, that all go, okay.
Yeah,
Which
very
makes
cool.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that,
Yes.
you know, that part of that relationship where the Princeton is just renting the facility, but you
Right.
guys are still running that whole backside.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, so, and I've received questions, every year I get a whole bunch of questions about that. Sometimes about passes, and the difference is, it's not owned by the school, like the gyms, and they have their own staff running admissions and taking tickets and that sort of thing, and that's why it's different.
Yeah, and obviously we've learned today all these fun things about building an arena and keeping it running. There must be a lot of cost to all of that.
Right.
Our team is just amazing. Like how many drivers we have? 5?
5 total.
5.
drivers,
If
yep.
we didn't have ice resurfacers, we wouldn't have hockey. So those 5 guys that give all of their time,
Spare time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
It's
all their
kudos.
spare time. So.
it's crazy that.
Are people able to volunteer or sign up to volunteer or?
We have various positions that, people can volunteer. But when it comes to making ice or doing the ice, laying floods and like that, you would need to be an employee. There's a
For
lot
sure.
of there's a lot of training that
But
goes
there's
into
like
it.
other things if you guys need help with too, like
Oh, yeah.
around the facility
Yes, we can always find something for somebody to
Yeah.
help with.
There you go, folks.
It's a never-ending battle to keep a building running. So
Yeah.
I like to always put the picture into people's minds. If you were at home all day long with 1,000 people coming to your house and you had to make it look perfect every day,
Right.
that's what we're doing. So that's a struggle.
So clean up your popcorn.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly. Pick up after
You need to
yourself.
get some hours of volunteering done, go to the hockey rink.
Well, and I can put a quick plug in for the activities office too, because they are in charge of finding announcers, somebody to run the scoreboard, right?
We do
Oh,
that.
you guys do that,
We
okay.
do that also.
So they need to contact you, because I
Yes.
feel like they're always looking for,
Yep.
Help.
We had a core group that did it for several years, and they've all gone, just kind of
Doing
moved
their own
along.
thing,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, so we had another great group. But yes, yes.
I'm sure that happens every few years. You gotta kind of find a new group and
Yep.
Yeah,
your kids
and-
graduate and.
anybody out there that wants to volunteer, and you make a little bit of cash on the side too, but announcers for games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
For volleyball, we need line judges, we need scorekeepers, all the sports. They're
Yep.
always looking for baseball umps, softball umps.
Refs, right?
Yes, yeah,
Shortage
yep,
for sure.
yep.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anybody has any free time that they want to keep themselves busy, definitely reach out to the high school or to the arena.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today on the podcast. Thank you to today's sponsor, Princeton Public Schools, where every Tiger has their own stripes. We'll be back again with our next podcast on June 27th. Until then, this is Zach, Kim, and Mary signing off. This is Princeton. Stay here, play here. Podcast produced by Kitzman Creations, music by Charles Moe. Be sure to subscribe to the Princeton Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Also, to view our awkward moments, check us out on our YouTube channel and visit us at www.thisisprincetonmn.co.